Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is June 22nd. It is a Monday. I will write a newsletter, so do stay tuned for that. And today also happens to be the second game in the FIFA World Cup tournament for Argentina, who I picked to win the World Cup. So, you can see that I'm in my Argentina jersey. I plan to finish writing the newsletter, catch the game, and then I will step out for a late afternoon walk. However, I'm bringing you this dose of Rashmi here from my desk. Today also happens to be a month since we launched the mirror. And honestly, over this month, it has been a mixed reaction to the mirror. Everybody who has used it and has shared the feedback, it's been great. It's been mostly what we expected, as well as some of the feedback has reinforced what we were planning to build anyways next, which is the enterprise mirror, which is what we have been focused on building over this month. At the same time, overall, the level of engagement has been poor. It has been much lower than what I was anticipating. So that does tell me that right now we are a little early to the market. People are not necessarily ready for a tool like presence-based AI and using AI to really reflect. The quest to find the answers externally still dominates. And from that perspective, since the mirror doesn't provide any answer, which is honestly the entire design principle, and it makes everybody slow down, it isn't necessarily what most people are right now looking for. They are so busy in the hustle culture that the idea of a tool slowing them down does not necessarily appeal. So, however, that while it's disappointing, that overall doesn't change what we are working towards in terms of the mirror. We continue to believe very strongly that the tool needs to slow people down. The entire idea of becoming present and aware to get in touch with your clarity is slow down to speed up, as I keep saying. So now with all that context, let's go ahead get started for today. So today, June 22nd, the dose of Rashmi is intellect operating by itself can only strive towards building a life or an organization as per the measures of success as defined in the external world. Collective intelligence, on the other hand, is the clarity of an organization that it exists only as a means to enable this collective aligned action towards whatever the team cares for. Yesterday was International Yoga Day, and about 3 days back in this series, I shared that I had somewhat of a eureka moment. I had developed this framework called PM squared: purpose, product, market, money. And the dose of Rashmi 3 days back went into the details of how, if we lead with our energy, whether as an individual or an organization, if we use our body, mind, and emotions as tools to follow whatever energizes an individual or an organization, that is the inversion right now. Predominantly, whether we are as an individual or an organization, are led by our mental models, and then we use our body, our emotions, as well as our life energy as tools to serve our mental models. And the causality inversion that I covered in that dose of Rashmi was follow your life energy and then use your body, mind, and emotions as tools to help do whatever energizes you. And that now, in the context of yoga, body, mind, emotions, and energy integration is what yoga is all about. So I had not really built PM squared necessarily with this mapping in mind. However, that was the eureka moment for me. That purpose very beautifully aligns for an organization with following the energy. Why does the organization exist? And product aligns brilliantly with the body the organization exists to build. And market aligns with collective care or the emotional feeling state, because that is how an organization interacts with the external world. And money is, of course, important for sustainability. And that's equivalent to the logical intellect or the mental models. However, the way most organizations operate today, they start with the money. Purpose is almost bolted on as something you just have to take care of in terms of mission vision statement. However, when I developed the PM squared, it was clear to me that starting with purpose is what is really required. I am a champion of purpose driven innovation. So 3 days back, that's kind of what marked as a eureka moment for me, that PM squared perfectly aligns to what ancient wisdom has been talking about all the time about yoga applied at an individual level. And now through this series, it has become clear to me that when you extend that same concept to an organizational level, organization operating on integrated intelligence and what we've been calling collective intelligence is working on a complete, aligned, integrated state where everybody working on in the organization is completely aligned and performing aligned action towards whatever emerges out of collective care. And the reason the organization exists, if it is truly a purpose driven organization, is to enable that. And yes, absolutely, money is important. It should follow for sustainability for all the people on that team as well as the impact that you want to create in the external world. However, the fact that almost every organization starts with money, that has made all the organizations slaves to the money, as well as all of us individually as slaves to the money eventually. And if you really think about it, money does not really exist in the real world. Money is a collective fiction that we all invented, and it is a great tool, absolutely, because it allows us to transact work in the external world. So, from that perspective, it was one of the greatest innovations, greatest inventions that allows us to work in this global world and interact with other human beings, exchange things, even exchange energy. So, it is a great tool. However, it is a very fine servant, but a very cruel master. And the way we are operating right now as individuals or collectively as an organization, we've made money the master. And it is time to reverse that order. That is what this series is all about. That is what the mirror as an individual transformation tool or the enterprise mirror as a collective organizational transformation tool is designed for. Thank you.